Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Dan and Joe Sports Show. As always, I'm Dan.
And I'm Joe.
And Joe, we're joined today by a special guest, not just special because she's awesome, but because she's my mother-in-law, bringing Hala Butler onto the show. She was actually part of what would end up being a memorable Ole Miss Tennessee game last weekend. Started off as a really great experience for volunteer fans and a great showcase for their school and for a fan base that had been downtrodden for so long, and ended up as quite an embarrassing thing and something I've honestly never seen in a football game. So I thought it'd be great to get someone who was there in person to give her thoughts on it. Hala, glad to have you on the show with us.
Thank you, Daniel. Hi, Joe.
Glad to have you, Hala.
Thank you.
So,
yeah, it was quite a little adventure there last weekend.
Yeah, so first off, Hala, tell me, like, you were wearing orange, right? And you were in your Tennessee attire.
I was, they're doing the checkerboard, so you can't mess up the checkerboard, right? My sweet friends invited us to go, and they are still Tennessee fans, so you win in Rome.
Well, so first off, didn't your friends win these tickets? I didn't really get the full story.
She did win the tickets at work, sort of a sales contest, and she knew I liked Ole Miss. We also like Tennessee, and so we were very fortunate to get to go.
Well, that's cool. Well, I knew even going into that game because you were sending me the pictures of the ball walk and all the different people you met. Tell me about some of the characters that you met before the game, including the mini Let's Go Brandons, and of course the Kiffin hunting. That was my favorite one.
Oh yeah, I wish I had those pictures to share. There were the people watching was epic. I mean, there was everything from grandmas to gremlins. I'm telling you, there was the ball claws guy. He's Santa, but he's orange. The guy with the raccoon hat and lots and lots of checkered overalls, face painted. I mean, they just ran the gamut. There's over 100,000 people there.
So
I mean,
there's
anything that you
the
can
hunt
see.
for loser lane if you can get it.
Oh yeah, he scared me a little.
That guy was worried. I could see him being the golf ball thrower right there.
Actually, they all start off. Go to the Let's Go Brandon guy. They all start off like the Let's Go Brandon guy. But after a few beers, they all became that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they had their very good, like, volunteer perfect Let's Go Brandon. No political endorsements are made on the show.
Right. Yeah, there was multiple of those. In fact, the family sitting next to me had handmade Let's Go Brandon shirts.
Yeah, that was a really good one that they had. I like that
In
one.
orange. But
So Hala, you were telling me when we were talking the other night, you thought one of the issues was they were starting to sell alcohol in Neyland Stadium, and it didn't seem like there was any kind of restriction on how much you could buy.
there's not. I mean, and I'm not used to that, right? So you go to the stadium, there's no alcohol. You have to tailgate before. They're tailgating from 8 o'clock in the morning. They get in the stadium at 6. They were walking in front of the stadium with 12 packs. They get into the stadium. Now they ran out of coffee before halftime, but they were never running out of beer or White Claw. Never. Everyone in Tennessee could have had 10, and they still would have had some left. And there were multiple intoxicated people. And I kind of want to write that little incident off as maybe a lot of drunk kids, but there were some totally sober adults acting crazy redneck up there. I mean, they all hate Kiffin. And the kids that are there now probably shouldn't even know to hate Kiffin, but the older people do. And they were booing the minute he walked on the field. They booed, just constantly. It was embarrassing. It really was. It was. Like I said, there was a little Ole Miss couple in front of me. They were just cheering for their team. They're just having a good time. And this older gentleman, 2 rows over and across, was screaming and yelling at them like they were the coach of the team. Like, calm down, Grandpa. They're just here cheering. It was crazy.
So you had the atmosphere kind of like that the whole game. When do you think it really started turning bad? I mean, was it on the fourth down play?
Fumble, return for a touchdown, bring it back right then, or possibly when they came on the field and started booing them. It was just the whole time. It was the whole time. It just got worse and worse as it went along. With all the injuries Every injury made it worse.
Yeah, they booed every time an Ole Miss player went down with an injury.
Right. And then my little Ole Miss couple in front of me, she booed when the Tennessee player went down. And I thought Grandpa Jones over here was going to come unglued. It was crazy. They were terrible the whole time. I haven't seen Balls fans act that bad since last time I saw Balls fans. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's
It
a
was
little background.
embarrassing.
When we were at Ole Miss, she came when Tennessee played up there, and she was wearing Ole Miss stuff in the Tennessee section, and they were not very nice because my father
They were not. I think those same guys were sitting behind us, I swear.
Yeah. 7 years later, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of difference. But Hala, I'm curious if you kind of take us through the process of when you first noticed that people were throwing stuff on the field. Like when did you first notice that?
When he didn't make the first down, stuff started flying. And you could see the poor little Ole Miss cheerleaders holding their defense signs, trying to protect their heads. It was pitiful. And at that point, we were like, yeah, we're done. We're done. And a lot of other people were done too. A lot of adults were done and walked out.
Could you see people in your section throwing items on the field?
No, not our section. It was over in the student area, behind the Ole Miss band. That whole I don't even know what you call that section, Daniel. That whole section where the Ole Miss band is, in between the Ole Miss band and the Tennessee band. We were on like the end zone section.
Okay. Were you on the end zone closest to that or opposite from it?
Closest.
Closest, yeah.
Yeah. Because here's our end zone and here's their little cheerleaders and band. I keep saying little cheerleaders, they're like adults, but whatever.
They're still little, it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, and did you actually see the golf ball come out, or did you already left by that point?
There were so many things you couldn't distinguish what was what. I really thought it was like empty water bottles, but I saw a few beer cans flying. So there was some Natural Light out there. There was some White Claw.
They only had the classiest stuff at Neyland Stadium, huh?
Oh, I'm telling you. The place is so big. I had forgotten how big it was up there. The place is huge. It's huge. It's bigger than the Falcons stadium.
Yeah,
man. Not the new one, but the old one. With the same light show.
That stadium that I went to. Yeah, that light show was awesome that they had.
The light show was amazing. The band was amazing, and my favorite part. That was amazing. But there was no sportsmanship shown at all, ever. Not from the first minute.
Well, that's what I hated about it too, because it was such a pretty scene for most of that game, and then just at the very end, it was like it ruined everything you had seen. You kind of felt like for a minute that Tennessee was kind of back like it was in the 90s and early 2000s when people actually cared and showed up, and then that all went down.
Yeah, I didn't get that feeling it was all wonderful to the end. I felt like it just was bad and got worse and worse.
You're actually there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it like? What was it like in the parking lot? Did it kind of continue as far as the hostile nature?
No. Like I said, we walked out at 56 seconds. A lot of other adults walked out too, shaking their head. How that was so embarrassing, right? Then they cleared some of the students. They arrested 18 of them, I think, today. And when everyone came out, we just all walked in a big sea of orange to our cars a mile away. It was over. So it was just for show. It was just for show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you this, Hala. When was the last time you went to a Tennessee game up there? Because I know you grew up.
Oh my gosh, it's been more than 30 years.
So back when you were like in high school or something?
When I was just a baby, Daniel. I was just a child.
When you were little, like those cheerleaders?
I was about this big.
That's true, yes. And so Hala had her little Colonel Rub necklace with her, but she was smart enough to leave it at home because somebody would have thrown that off and screamed, "Let's go, Brandon," and thrown it at Kiffin probably. So.
Right. I was glad we didn't wear the Ole Miss colors. I was afraid we wouldn't be safe. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, Hala, just out of curiosity, has Cindy said anything to you this week about what happened?
Her perspective's a little different than mine.
I'm asking.
She
said it's justified, right?
I was actually, but I did feel like she was there with me with all the excitement. and the vocalization. So
Yeah, Joe, she's got a friend that's a very serious Tennessee fan that I don't know that she would have thrown something, but she probably would have thought about it.
verbally generous.
Yeah, it's verbally generous. I like it.
Well,
But
Hala,
it was good. I mean, we enjoyed spending time with our friends, and it definitely was an adventure. But it was embarrassing, and they should all be embarrassed. They really
Well,
should. I mean, it was
I'm
2009,
curious.
for God's sakes. Get over it.
Right. No, absolutely. I'm curious too, though, with you being there, like with the embarrassment, everything that transpired, like, do you have an opinion on, what they should do as far as penalties for like Tennessee or the people that were involved?
Oh, well, they did arrest 18 today, and they fined them $250,000, but they need to get the beer out of the stadium.
Yeah.
No alcohol in the stadium. I mean, they were already loaded.
See, what I think,
Yeah.
Hala, is what they should have done is I like that, like no booze in the stadium. I think you do like a 2 times thing. So first off, whatever the next home game they were going to have, they lose that home game and it goes to whoever they were playing, and you have to play the away game, and it becomes an away game, and you lose all that revenue from a home football game in Knoxville. I think that's the first thing they should have done. Second, I like what you said. Put them on a restriction towards the end of the season where they can't serve any alcohol in
Right.
stadiums. And then you hit them on the revenue, and you hit where probably what started the actions to begin with. And I think that would have been much better than $250,000, because in my mind, how can you justify fining them $250,000 for throwing things at coaches and players and cheerleaders, throwing something that could have frankly like given Lane Kiffin a concussion and a golf ball, versus you find them the exact same as you do Texas A&M running out on the field after they beat Alabama? That makes no sense.
Right. Well, again, I don't understand why I had to bring a clear purse, it can only be this big, Daniel. You know how annoying that was for me, right?
Oh, I know.
I really had to edit. And but they get in with golf balls? What?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say the security there was not the best.
I'm telling you, they didn't even look. I went through all that trouble. They didn't even look in my purse. I could have carried a White Claw. I mean, But I mean, they don't need to, they have enough. They have enough. There's kids there. It's supposed to be a family atmosphere. There was a little bitty fella in front of me. He was so cute. And everyone, doing the Brandon cheer, both of them, right in his ear. And over every play. They just don't need it. They don't need it.
Yeah.
They don't need it.
I agree. I mean, I think that's a huge issue, because I didn't even realize that until you told me that they were selling alcohol there. I haven't been to a game yet where they did that. I know that's like a new thing in the SEC, but Auburn hasn't done it yet. And then when I went to Penn State is almost like Mississippi in the 1950s in terms of the way they look at alcohol. So they definitely didn't allow alcohol at Penn State. Really weird, antiquated laws there. So yeah, that would be. I'm interested to go to an SEC game where that happens, but I really hope I don't see that again.
Yeah, I was really surprised that they had it, and it wasn't, that maybe it wouldn't be so bad, but they weren't tipsy. They were drunky Brewsters out there, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were drunk Zillas. So I just don't think they need it.
They've got to do something, I feel like, because otherwise I'm afraid we're going to continue to see other, fan bases do something like this when we have bad calls.
Right.
Try to disrupt the game. I mean, try to like kick it back like in the 1980s when you had Drunky Brewster running around.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to sneak a flask in back then.
Yeah, do the airport minis. That's the way to go. All right, Hala, well, we enjoyed having you on the show. We'll do it some other time too, because.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed seeing your face.
I like seeing
your face, Joe.
Thank you so much.
Have a great evening.
All right, thank you, Hala.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. And we'll come back with another segment. I want to thank everybody for listening, and our special guest, Hala Butler, for giving our firsthand perspective on what it was like in Knoxville during the lane train derailment and chaos that assumed. And you can catch our episodes on YouTube. Catch them on Spotify, the old episodes. Just look up the Dan Joe Sports Show on Spotify. We got a couple years worth of episodes on there now. And of course, you can also like us on Facebook, and we have a Facebook fan page, the Dan Joe Sports Show fan page, that you can like us at. And you can follow us on Twitter at DJ Sports Show. And as always, I'm Dan.
And I'm Joe.